Bob Tross, playing no longer in a block world, but instead with dull knives. I get burned, hit, and cut all in one video. The fingerprints burning off will come in handy at the bank this weekend, where I'll make some real spare change. These wonderful images at the intro are 3D art projects I've either done personally or for a failing art grade. As such, I will once again forge a new project, wasting my life once again, where even sitting around doing nothing is much more productive than what I'm doing now. I shall make a violin out of simple, everyday household items, such as cardboard and glue. I begin with sketches. Not much creativity is to that, unlike character figures, which I do a little later. Your eyes will be in pain as you gaze upon my windshield wiper. The tragic start to all this, as my poor inebriated brain somehow equated a cleaning car part to an expensive musical tool. But I digress. If you by chance notice, there are also plenty of cuts on my hand. Do not be alarmed, my viewer. I work in a car shop, and my daily activity is to have blood drawn from my body, as if the car is a deprived vampire who cannot live without my unhealthy blood. Cruising along, measurements and math are all needed. However, when you have my level of skill, you might as well not even attempt any of those actions. Regardless, I take the time to meaninglessly do so, which does result in a larger violin in general. Later on, I find out that my measurements were completely off originally. Normally, I make art that is too small, but this case, my proportions are oversized and were larger than intended. So I overshot my shot and hit a barrel of firecrackers, resulting in the hospital catching fire. I take my time messing up and outlining it in marker and making my scissors chomp chomp to bring me to the pile of garbage that is a cardboard cutout of a wooden musical instrument, which looks as good as you would think it would. I do that several times, equating to a total of 5 pieces. The multiple pieces were intended to be structural, but as you will find out, cardboard is not a structural piece. It will not hold any weight whatsoever, at least for what I was planning to do. I sincerely apologize for my hands and work ultimately being allergic to video footage. It was not my intention to do so. In fact, it was quite the opposite. My hands act as if they are a ghost, repulsed by the footage that they would be caught on. And you'll notice the video is ending soon, and I don't have a lot of progress. Well, that's because I didn't record the spray painting. But Tross, I hear you ask, spray paint is an everyday household item. Well, what a conveniently timed question appearing from the void. Although I do use spray paint, any coloring or painting item will do just as well. In fact, it will likely be much more quicker, efficient, and cheaper in the long run. So as it turns out, cardboard was not made to hold rocks. I couldn't find any other rocks that were good size or small enough to fit it with the weight, so I eventually gave up on the idea. The reason I did not record myself spray painting was because of 2 reasons. First of all, I recorded at night, and it's dark. Secondly, it was a school night, my mom was asleep in her room, and I was outside, shaking a bottle of spray paint for an hour at 1 a.m. I was petrified. My mother is worse than any failing grade. My mother does not watch my videos, to my relief. If anyone out there is a snitch, I promise you, I will find you, and I will egg you till you become a baked omelet boiling in the burning sun.
Hello, Webby appearance time, let's go. So, by cutting 1.5-inch wide strips of cardboard, she glues it to the very edge of the violin cutout, that she has made very poorly, as if she had dropped her ice cream cone off edge of a building and let it elegantly splash onto the ground. This is where the glue and Tross become rather intimate with each other, as it takes a hold of her fingertips and removes them forcibly. I hate reading. This continues for a good while. Unfortunately, so is my pain. This continues for a good while. Unfortunately, so is her pain, as it prolonged and the feeling in her fingertips go numb. But her willpower prevails like the ignorance of a child.
I did the scroll of the violin, which is a funky part at the end, which I did butcher. At the end, you'll see it's fully spray painted, and I attached the strings, which are fishing lines that are spray painted because I didn't have any blue ones. With that painstakingly long, headache-inducing voiceover done, I present to you my hours of wasted time, a wild blue spotted violin.